Welcome to Mindful Moments. Nourish your mind on the go.
Yes.
In today's AI-narrated episode, we're taking a deep dive into The Divider.
Okay.
It's a gripping account of the Trump White House by Peter Baker and Susan Glasser.
Right.
Buckle up for a behind-the-scenes look at one of the most turbulent periods in American history.
It's like reading a political thriller.
Yeah.
It's just packed full of shocking revelations and insider accounts.
It really is.
Imagine you're a fly on the wall
Okay.
during these pivotal moments, witnessing the power struggles, the clashing personalities, and the decisions that shaped global events.
It's amazing. And it's hard to believe that Trump didn't even recognize Omarosa from The Apprentice
Oh, wow.
when he was assembling his team.
Really?
He reportedly asked, what the hell's an Omarosa?
Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable.
That's incredible. It reveals a lot about his leadership style, though. He seemed to approach the presidency like a business deal, expecting unwavering loyalty and surrounding himself with familiar faces.
It's almost like he didn't quite grasp the magnitude of the office or the differences between running a business and running a country.
Exactly.
And his reliance on Fox News over intelligence briefings is equally surprising.
It really highlights his tendency to seek out information that reinforced his existing beliefs,
Right.
even if it came from questionable sources.
Which is a little bit concerning, to say the least.
Absolutely.
So the book also sheds light on the struggles of those dubbed the adults in the room.
Yes.
These are the seasoned advisors, like Mattis Tillerson Kelly,
Right.
who tried to manage Trump's impulses and bring order to the chaos.
They had a really tough job.
Oh, for sure.
Their efforts were often met with resistance and frustration.
Yeah.
Trump's unpredictable decision-making and penchant for conflict made it nearly impossible to establish a consistent strategy.
And to maintain any sort of stability.
Exactly.
The travel ban rollout, for example, was a chaotic mess.
It was a complete disaster.
And Steve Bannon even questioned the need for Justice Department approval, asking, is there a law that says we have to do that?
You know, it just demonstrates a disregard for established norms and procedures.
Right.
It would become a hallmark of the Trump administration.
It's like they're making it up as they went along.
In many ways, they were.
And the book is filled with similar anecdotes that reveal a president who often acted on impulse.
Yeah.
Prioritizing his own instincts over expert advice or legal constraints.
It's a recurring theme throughout the book.
The firing of James Comey,
Yes.
which ultimately led to the appointment of Robert Mueller as special counsel,
Right.
is another prime example of this impulsive behavior.
Trump's actions, fueled by paranoia and a desire to control the narrative, set off a chain of events that would consume his presidency.
It's like a domino effect.
Exactly.
One impulsive decision leading to another and another.
And the consequences just kept escalating.
And then there was his affinity for strongmen like Putin and Kim Jong-un.
It was a fascinating dynamic.
Oh, for sure.
The summits, while captivating the world's attention, also raised concerns about his foreign policy approach.
It seemed like he was more interested in building personal relationships with these leaders than in advancing America's strategic interests.
The book delves into the motivations behind these meetings and the alarm they caused within the U.S. intelligence community.
I can imagine.
It raises questions about whether Trump's personal relationships clouded his judgment and compromised national security interests.
So domestically, events like the Charlottesville rally and Trump's response exposed deep divisions within the country.
His equivocation on condemning white supremacy alienated many and fueled accusations of racism.
It was a stark example of how his rhetoric and actions often inflamed tensions rather than promoting unity.
Exactly. The family separation crisis at the border was another humanitarian disaster.
Oh, absolutely.
That revealed the administration's hardline immigration policies.
Those images of children being separated from their parents were just heartbreaking. And the book details the internal struggles of officials like Kirstjen Nielsen, who wrestled with the moral implications of these policies.
They were caught between carrying out the president's orders and their own conscience.
It must have been an incredibly difficult position to be in.
It was a moral dilemma for many within the administration.
Then there was the Ukraine scandal and the ensuing impeachment inquiry.
The testimonies of key figures like Bill Taylor and Alexander Vindman painted a damning picture of Trump's efforts to pressure Ukraine for personal gain.
It was a pretty clear abuse of power.
Absolutely. And of course, the COVID-19 pandemic and the administration's chaotic response dominated the latter part of his presidency.
Right.
The book highlights the power struggles between experts like Fauci and Birx and Trump loyalists like Scott Atlas and Mark Meadows.
It was like two completely different realities clashing.
Exactly. And it had devastating consequences for public health.
Absolutely. The George Floyd protests and Trump's law and order response further deepened the political divide.
It was a stark reminder of the racial tensions that continued to plague the country.
And the administration's inability to address them effectively.
Exactly.
So, the Divider offers a deep dive into these and other key events.
It does.
Providing valuable insights into the inner workings of the Trump White House.
It's an essential read for anyone seeking to understand this turbulent chapter in American history.
And its lasting impact on our political landscape.
Absolutely.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is.
But it's a conversation that we need to have.
We do.
And I'm glad we're having it here today.
Me too.
So let's take a closer look at some of the specific details and anecdotes that really bring this book to life.
Okay.
And help us understand the forces that shape this presidency.
Sounds good.
It's fascinating how Trump's approach to information was so selective.
Yeah, absolutely. He seemed to gravitate towards sources that just validated his preconceived notions, even if they lacked any, real credibility.
Like his preference for Sean Hannity's show over his own intelligence team's briefings. Oh, that's a pretty startling detail.
It really is. It speaks to a pattern of dismissing information that challenged his worldview.
Like surrounding himself with people who would just tell him what he wanted to hear.
Exactly. And, the book highlights how this pattern played out in various scenarios, from the Russia investigation to the COVID-19 pandemic.
It raises a critical question.
It does.
How do you govern effectively when you're operating within an echo chamber of your own making?
It's a recipe for disaster.
It really is.
Yeah.
The book also dives into Trump's transactional approach to leadership.
Yes.
It's almost as if loyalty was a currency in his world.
It really was. Loyalty, or at least the appearance of it, was paramount.
Yeah.
Those who demonstrated unwavering allegiance were rewarded.
Right.
While those who showed even a hint of dissent were swiftly cast aside.
It's like a very cutthroat.
It was a very transactional kind of environment.
It created a climate of fear and uncertainty among his staff.
Absolutely.
Making it incredibly difficult to offer candid advice.
Right.
Or challenge his decisions.
It was a very difficult environment to work in.
The revolving door of personnel in the Trump White House is a testament to that.
It really is. It's hard to build a cohesive and effective team when people are constantly worried about being the next target of the president's ire.
Yeah, you never knew who was going to be fired next.
Exactly.
And let's not forget the role played by figures like Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell.
Oh, yes.
Who fed Trump's obsession with conspiracy theories and fueled his efforts to overturn the election results.
They played a dangerous game.
They really did. Their relentless promotion of the big lie, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary, played a significant role in undermining faith in our democratic process.
They really eroded public trust.
Absolutely. The book paints a chilling portrait of the lengths Trump was willing to go to cling to power.
Right.
Even after it was clear he had lost the election.
It was a desperate attempt to hold on.
His pressure campaign on officials like Raffensperger in Georgia.
Yeah.
His attempts to weaponize the Justice Department.
Right.
His encouragement of the January 6th mob.
It was a dangerous escalation.
It all points to a dangerous disregard for the rule of law.
It was an assault on democracy.
It's a reminder that the guardrails of democracy are only as strong as the people who uphold them.
And that the erosion of norms and institutions can happen gradually, almost imperceptibly until it's too late.
That's a sobering thought. The book doesn't offer easy answers or simple solutions to the challenges posed by the Trump presidency.
It's a complex issue with no easy fixes.
Yeah, it feels like the Divider doesn't offer any easy answers or solutions about the challenges the Trump presidency posed.
You're right, it doesn't, but it does provide valuable insights into how we arrived at this point in American history.
Right.
And, maybe some steps we might consider taking to protect our democracy going forward.
So this has been a fascinating, albeit unsettling journey through the Divider.
It really has.
It's a story that continues to unfold.
Yeah.
And it has implications that will likely reverberate for years to come.
Absolutely. If you're interested in understanding this period of history and its implications for the future,
yes,
I highly recommend checking out The Divider yourself.
It's a must-read.
You'll find a link to purchase it in the show notes.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking deep dives into the books and ideas shaping our world.
Yes, and don't forget to share this episode with anyone who might find it interesting.
Definitely spread the word.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.